Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm starting with the very first chapter. What is psychology? The topic of chapter number 1 is the very introductory part of the subject. What is psychology? Now, psychology is made up of two Greek words. First one is psyche and second one is logos. Psyche means what? Soul. And logos means to study any subject or science. So it is made up of psyche and logos that make a word psychology, right? And the pronunciation is also what? Psychology. It's not psychology, but it is psychology, right? So this is a very brief introduction that it is made up of two Greek words, psyche and logos. Psyche means soul. So what was there in the beginning when this subject was started? It was considered as a study of soul. Or you can also use another term for it. You can also use the term mind. I'll tell you afterwards what does mind means, what it comprises of. But the psychology was considered as a subject of study of soul, mind, or consciousness. Fine. And it was in the beginning a philosophical subject. Just like in philosophy, we do not have any evidences, we cannot prove anything. Suppose in philosophy, they used to say that God exists. Yes, there is existence of God or of any supernatural power, right? But they haven't proved it. We don't have evidences. We do not have what does God look like, what is its shape, what is the size. Yes, nobody has seen till date. So there are no evidences, there is no proof, there is no validity of the things. Just like that, psychology was also considered as the study of soul, mind, and consciousness. Then what happened gradually as it was developing? There is a discipline and it gradually develops with time. So slowly and slowly, a scientific element has been added to this subject. Now, what does this mean? If I'm saying a scientific element means in science, what we used to do in physics, in biology, in chemistry, what you people have done in 9th, 10th standard, you have done, you have done certain practicals. Yes, practicals means the experiments where you have proved something. In chemistry, you just combine the group of chemicals and it result in some other substance. Yes, so you can show it by doing it, by mixing the chemicals in the transparent tubes and whatever the practicals were. In the same way, psychology was also considered slowly and slowly a scientific subject. Why? Because in this subject, we also, or the psychologists or the researchers, have started conducting the experiments. They have started conducting the test through which they can verify certain human behavior, they can observe those, and they can apply the results of those experiments, those tests or studies to the general population, to the normal population, right? So now if I say a very precise definition of psychology, it is what? That it is a science which studies, first of all, what? Mental processes, second is behavior, and third is experiences. Yes, and to be remember an important thing, that we are studying all these things in different contexts. Are you getting the things? In the definition, we have used three words. First is mental processes, second one is behavior, and third one is experiences. And in the last, I'm saying we are studying all these things in different contexts. Why these words are important? Because we are encountering different situations on daily basis. Yes, every day is not same. Every day is different from other day in some manner. Some days are very good, some days are very stressful, other days are very challenging. Yes, so in different context, in different situation, how an individual applying those mental processes, how they are reacting to the situations, how they are experiencing. Okay, so this is a formal and precise definition that psychology is a science which studies mental processes, experiences, and behaviors in different contexts. Now, next, you have to explain these terms one by one. Mental processes की जब बात करते हैं तो what are the mental processes? There are many names, but to give me some example, you can say remembering, reading, attention, perceiving, memory, all these things, thinking, all these are what? Mental processes. Now, there is a difference between mind and brain. Students, those who have attended the previous lecture, I hope they are clear with it. There is a very basic and a very general difference between mental processes and brain activities. If I'm using the word brain activities, there are neural activities. Yes, you all know the structure of brain, the hindbrain, the forebrain, the midbrain. Yes, but can you locate where mind is there inside our body? Do you know the structure of mind? Can you locate the position? Can you locate the location of mind? No, we cannot. So, what is the difference? When we talk about brain, there is a proper structure. It is an organ, yes. But if we talk about mind, there is not any precise location or structure. So, this is the basic difference. Now, these both the things are interrelated. One cannot happen without the other, right? So these are certain, you can give the example of mental processes. Now, when we come upon the experiences, what is the basic feature of an experience? If I say experiences are subjective in nature, what do I mean? When I'm using the word subjective, what does it mean? That everybody has different experience. Yes, everybody will narrate the experience in different words. So subjectivity means everyone will be defining or explaining or narrating the experience in different words. So this is a very important feature of experience. Now there are two kinds of experiences, internal and external. The examples you can read on your own from the book. I'm not taking the example today as we are revising the chapter a little bit faster. Yes. The third thing is behavior. What we mean by behavior? We all used to behave. We are behaving. Yes. This is a very common term. Mind your behavior, mind your tongue. We use these words. So when I say mind your behavior means whenever we are responding or we are doing any action, yes, there are different stimulus present in our environment. Yes, and we are responding or we are acting upon those stimulus. So it is a stimulus response connection. When we say this, behaviors are actions or reactions, and it is a kind of stimulus response connection. Now there are different types of behavior. There are simple behavior, suppose reflex actions are there. There are complex behaviors in which higher mental processes are involved. There could be covert behavior, there could be overt behavior. Overt means which could be observable, which could be seen, and covert behavior which cannot be seen, which is hidden. We cannot make out that what is the behavior going inside in an individual. Yes, so these three terms you have to explain in a definition of psychology. This is a very brief introductory part of the topic. Now the next topic is that this subject has two parallel streams. Now what does it mean? that psychology is also considered as a natural science. What do I mean by natural science? Again, the physical sciences, just like physics, chemistry, biology. And the second stream about psychology is of social science. Social science means whenever we are dealing with society, with people, with different environmental conditions, with different cultures, this is all about social science. So psychology is having two parallel streams. The first one is of physical science or natural science, and second one is of social science, right? You can give example in physical sciences, in natural sciences, what is happening? There is a proper theory, yes, there is a proper hypothesis, and we are proving the things. There is a cause and effect relationship, just as we done in chapter number 2 in experimental method. Independent variable is the cause and dependent variable is the effect. So we are finding the cause and effect relationship whenever we talk about psychology as the natural science. And when I say psychology also works as a social science, that means that how we are behaving, how we are thinking, how we are perceiving in different contexts, and those contexts are related to what? Our society, culture, religion, yes. Now, to just this is just for your information that if a person is from humanities, yes, as many of you are from humanities stream, if you go for psychology in your graduation, the degree will be of BA. But if a science student is there and he is also taking psychology after 12th class, so the degree will be of BSc, Bachelor of Science. So what does it's showing that psychology is a subject of uh, humanities also, and it is a subject of science also. Because if science students are pursuing it in their college, they are getting the degree of BSc, MSc. Yes, Madhav. Afterwards, beta, recording is going on. I'll take your question afterwards. Yes. So, and if a science student is taking, the degree will be of BSc. So that is why psychology is also considered a subject of science. Clear with the two parallel streams, one is of natural science and the other one is of social science. Now come upon the next thing, when I say understanding mind and behavior. Just as in the previous, I just told you about that mind cannot exist without brain. But mind is a separate entity. This is a quotation if I say, and I just ask you to explain, or I just ask you to discuss. What all things will you going to write in this? There are 3 examples given in your NCERT book. I'm just explaining you the first one just to get an idea what is it all about. When I say that mind is a separate entity, but also it cannot exist without brain. The example was there was an individual whose occipital lobes were removed surgically. What does it mean? Occipital lobes are important for the vision. Yes, for your information, occipital lobes are there important for vision in human body, but those lobes were surgically removed. Now, after that surgery, when that individual came to his house, he was able to locate, he was able to identify, he was able to remember the map of his house. What does it show? As he was, storing those experiences which he was having when his vision was fine. So he was having those experiences, he was having those feelings, he was having those emotions, those memories. So on the basis of all those things, which consist of what? Mind. So here mind is operating. Mind has come on the front foot. It is taking all the responsibility, and it is also working at the place of lobes. The person is quietly, able to do all his activities, his daily activities. So this is an example that our mind is there. It consists of all childhood memories, experiences, feelings that we are encountering on a daily basis in our lifespan. Now, a word is there, psychoneuroimmunology. This is a new word. This means that it focuses the role played by the mind in strengthening the immune system. Nowadays, this word has, got a very tremendous importance. Why? Because you must have heard doctors saying that there is a connection between your body and mind. Yes, if you are having positive thoughts, if you are of optimistic nature, if you are very creative, very positive, then your body will automatically become healthy. And in place of this, you are having a lot of stress in your daily life, depression, anxiety, low confidence. So all these things are viewing your personality somewhere, your health, your physical health somewhere. Yes, individuals start developing many kind of diseases just because of the psychological distresses. An individual might have heart attack, an individual might develop high BP. These are very normal. You must have observed in your house, in your localities, yes, that people start developing many physical illnesses just because of the psychological disorder or psychological um, issues. Got the thing? So this is all about understanding mind and behavior. We will just give an example to make it more simple. And psychoneuroimmunology is a latest branch which is emerging, and it is all related to our mind, body, and our immune system, the immunity. Now next comes popular notions about the discipline of psychology. This is little bit not tough, I will say, but little bit confusing. So I'm just summarizing it in a very brief and very simple manner, that here we are talking about common sense. All have heard this word. We all use this word, yes. So what is the difference between common sense and psychology? The basic difference, you can write it somewhere if you like to, that common sense is based upon hindsight. Hindsight, I'll explain you what does it mean. And psychology is what? It is, a consist of behavior or patterns of behavior which can be predicted and not explained after the behavior occurs. Now, what does it mean? Do not confuse. Common sense means, when I say it is based upon hindsight, that means something has happened. Yes, something has taken place, and then we are explaining it. An incident has been taken place, and then we are explaining it. That means hindsight. Something has occurred, and then we are explaining. What does it mean? What psychology is saying, that it is based upon the prediction and not the explanation after the behavior occurs. When I say I have tested your IQ, fine, I have tested, suppose, Nikita's IQ. I have given her a test and I have tested her IQ. Then I'll make a prediction based upon that analysis, that Nikita will going to do good in this stream or in this subject, or she can pursue her career in these streams or in these subjects, right? So this is a prediction I'm making about her future. So psychology is all about knowing the things, applying the test, and then you are predicting. But what is common sense? That something has already taken place and then you are explaining it. Now, what are common examples of common sense in Indian society? Generally, you all know these things, that there is a discrimination done on the basis of gender. Yes, you all have heard this, that women are not good drivers as compared to men. Or you can, there are many other, like men are more intelligent than women when we talk about technical things. Yes. So these are certain common sense, which is, these are certain examples which are based on common sense. That some evidences or some incidents have taken place, and on the basis of this, we have made an belief. But this is not correct. When we have done certain studies, certain experiments in psychology, then we have found just the total opposite results. A very good example has been given on page number 7, done by Dweck. The name of the psychologist is Dweck. I cannot explain you the example. It is quite big, but it's very simple. You can read it on yourself and you'll get the idea what is it all about and what is the difference between common sense and psychology. Right? Next come upon the topic of evolution of psychology. As I've given you this assignment also, question number 1. So let me just brief out. Evolution means how does this subject develops gradually. So earlier when it came into existence, the first psychologist was Wilhelm Wundt. He was the one who established the first psychology laboratory also in Leipzig in Germany. Yes. So he was the first psychologist who explained the word introspection. This is also a quite important term. Introspection, you'll be using this term whenever you're going to write the report in your practicals. Introspection, generally also many must have you know the word, the meaning of the word. Introspection means to tell about our own feelings, our own experiences, our own emotions. Yes. Why we are using this term in our report writing? Because the person on whom we are conducting our practical, that person is known as subject in our language. In psychology, we call that person a subject. So after the subject has done the test, yes, then we will ask him or her to write an introspective report. Or we can just ask her to tell, and later on we write on his or her behalf. That is an introspective report, that how does that subject felt during the conduction of the test. What were the emotion, what were the ideas coming to his mind. He may say it was little bit difficult, I was not clear with the question, and he also can report about the weather condition, that the physical facilities were not good, it was very hot in the classroom, or there was a lot of disturbance. So anything, any experiences. So that is all about introspection. So Wilhelm Wundt was the first psychologist who said that there is a structure of mind. Let us find out that. So he has stressed, he has focused more upon the structure of the mind, that where it is located, how does it look like, what it comprises of. So that is why it is known as structuralism. The first school of thought is known as structuralism. Why? Because Wundt has emphasized upon the structure of the mind. Fine. After that, the functionalism came. The functionalism has been given by William James, another psychologist. What he emphasized? He emphasized upon the functions. He said it is not necessary to find, it is not at all important to find the structure, although there is no structure available. So let us more focus, let us more emphasize upon the functions of the mind. How does it operate? How does it function? How does behavior is related to various kind of things? So he stressed upon the functions of the mind. That is why the second school of thought came as a functionalism. Right? The third school of thought was known as Gestalt. It's a new term. This term means whole Whole means to see the things as together. If I'm perceiving any picture in parts, yes, and when I see a full drawing or a full pattern or a full diagram as a whole, so that means gestalt, to look at the things from holistic point of view. I have given the example on Diwali nights, we use those lighting at our houses. So there are bulbs which are not moving. Yes, there are certain patterns, there are certain bulbs at their own places, they are just blinking one by one, or there are certain patterns. So this is what a good example of gestalt, that we see that lightning as if bulbs are also moving from one place to another. After that, next school came behaviorism. Behaviorism means what? The psychologist who has given this school was known as John Watson. You have to remember the name of the psychologist, the name of the discipline or school of thought, and the important characteristics or features of this particular school of thought. Now, behaviorism, what Watson has said, he said that any behavior which can be seen, which can be observed, which can be measured, it all comprises of psychology. So anything which could be verified, which could be observed, and which could be measured, so automatically or obviously it becomes objective. We talked about objectivity also. So all these things come under behaviorism, and you can say it is directly related to a scientific method. So John Watson has emphasized upon this. Now next comes psychoanalysis. This is also another name of school of thought. This has been given by Sigmund Freud. The name of the psychologist is Sigmund Freud, a very famous psychologist. Some of you might have heard also who were interested earlier in psychology. So Sigmund Freud is a very prominent name. He has done a lot of researches, and his school is very famous, that is psychoanalysis. What he's saying, Freud is saying that unconscious part of our personality is the most important part, and our personality is very much influenced by this part. He also gives stress upon the dreams, the hidden desires, the inner conflicts that lies within an individual. So it is all about psychoanalysis. We don't have to do all these things in detail, just a little bit. Now after that comes another school of thought that is known as humanistic perspective. And it has been given by two psychologists, Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. Now what this school of thought is saying, they are saying that every human being, every individual is potential enough, capable enough to reach at the fullest, to reach at the peak. We all are capable and efficient to get our targets and goals. Yes, we all want freedom, we all want self-actualization, means we want to actualize ourselves, that what is our potential. We used to have our self-concept. So all these positive things come under humanistic approach, that as a human being, we all want to reach success. We all want to get our desired goals and targets in life. So this is mainly about the evolution of psychology. After that comes the cognitive perspective, which is saying about the thinking process, how we are cognitively analyzing the situation. So this is all about the school of thoughts or evolution of psychology. I think 70% of the chapter we have done today, but still many topics have left, so that will not be possible today. Let's do it whenever we meet or